Welcome everyone to my channel today. Today we are going to be learning how to make vegetable soup. I want to show us how I make my vegetable soup. So we are going to be needing some ingredients, of which I'm going to be showing us as we proceed. I'll be showing us the ingredients one after the other as we proceed in this video. Stay tuned and watch. Our first ingredient in today's tutorial is stockfish, also known as OKPOROKO. That's the first thing that we are going to put in the pot today. This is it. This is the pot. We put it in the pot. The second ingredient is the intestine. I have intestine. I have the skin here. That's the second ingredient that will be going into the pot. Remember, the first thing we poured in this pot is our stockfish. So the next one that I'm going to put is the intestine that I got for this tutorial, or for making of the soup rather. The next ingredient that will be going into the pot is the beef. Yes, I have a red meat. This is my red meat here. Now, mind you, all these ingredients that I'm putting in the pot, I have washed them all. I didn't show us how I washed them in order to save our time. I don't want to bore us with plenty video, with plenty process. So I have to wash it off camera, prepare everything off camera before bringing it to show us. Now this is my beef. This is the third one that is going to go into this pot. The next thing I have here is my Titus fish. Yes, I have Titus here. This is going to be the next ingredient that will go into this pot. Pour it inside. Then the next thing that will go into this pot now is the onion. I have the onion. I have my cube. This is KNOR cube. I'm going in with KNOR cube. And then this onion. Now I'm going to pour this here, and then I'm going to put it on fire. I'm not going to add water yet until it cooks. I need to get out all the stock I can get out. Now I'm going to be making use of crayfish as well, but this crayfish I will blend it. When it is time, I will show us. Now these are all the ingredients that I have in the pot here. I have fish, I have red meat, which is beef, I have intestine that contains the towel, what we call the towel, the kidney, the gbogbo nishe, menene. I also have the skin, cow skin in this soup. Yes, and this is the crayfish I'll be making use of, but I will blend the crayfish. I'm not going to add the crayfish like this. When I'm blending the tomatoes, that is when I'll blend the crayfish alongside. Now this one, we are going to be transferring this one to the gas now to cook it. Now mind you, I said I did not pour water. I'm not pouring water in it for now. It will cook for some times. After some times, that's when I'll now add water. I'll allow it to cook for about 10 minutes. Yes, it will cook for about 10 minutes, just for me to get all the stock out as much as possible before adding water to start cooking it properly. Now this is it. I've put it, is on the fire and it's cooking. Now we are going to cover and allow it to simmer for some times. We'll cover and allow it to cook for some time before adding water to it. Now here I have the pepper that I'm going to be making use of. This is the pepper, the quantity of the pepper I'll be making use of. Now this is the tomatoes I'm going to be making use of, and then this is I'm going to make use of this to blend the tomatoes. This is manual blender, there is no light, so I'll be making use of this to blend the tomatoes, and it will give me exactly what I want. So I'm not going to show us the whole process of how I'm going to blend it, just to save our time and our data. I'm just showing us the ingredients I'll be using for this soup, one after the other. I also have this onion. This is the onion I'm going to add. Remember, I added onion in the meat already, so I'm going to add this one to the tomatoes and blend it together. And we're also still going to need one more onions for the oil when we are frying the oil and the tomatoes. Now the meat has cooked for some times now. This is it. We have some stock in it already. Sorry, it's actually getting dark. It's getting dark in here, so we are going to add water to it already so that it will cook very well. I'm adding this much water because I need it to cook very well, especially the cow skin is very tough, so I have to add this much water for it to cook for some times. Once again, I'm walking us through all the ingredients. At this point, I've parboiled the fish. This is my blended tomatoes. This is my grounded crayfish. This is the iru. I'm going to use iru for this soup. This is my meat, the meat that I'm going to use. I have a beef, there is a cow skin, there is stockfish, there is intestine, and then this is my onion. And then you can make use of any seasoning of your choice. For this my own, I'm going to make use of KNOR seasoning. I'm making use of KNOR. I'll be making use of 2 KNOR cube. This is my KNOR cube. I'll be making use of these 2. Then, if there is need for us to add salt, we are going to add salt. But for now, I just want to show us once again. At the beginning of the video, I show us all the ingredients that I'll be making use of. And now they are all ready. I've parboiled the meat, the fish, and I've blended the tomatoes and the crayfish, and this is the iru. So now let's get started. We are now going to continue to go to the gas to start cooking it. For this soup, I'm going to use palm oil for the soup. The oil I'm going to use is palm oil. I'm using palm oil for this soup. Now we are going to go in with our palm oil. You add the quantity that you want. Now this quantity is enough for me. You allow it to get hot. You don't let it fry. Just the oil, let it, this level is okay. Now we are going to go in with our onion. The first thing that we are going in with is our onion. This is the onion. Now we let it simmer for a little. Then the next ingredient I'm going to go in with is iru. This is the iru. Now the quantity of the iru that you add depends on what you want. You allow it to fry. Now the reason why I'm leaving it to fry is because I want to get all the aroma of the iru in the oil, in the soup at the end of the day. So you let it fry for some time. Maybe a minute or 2 is okay. At this point, I'm going to go in with the blended tomatoes. These are blended tomatoes and pepper. So I'm going in with it now. This is the oil. You go in with it. Then you stir. I'm making use of 3 different vegetables for this soup. I have UGWU, which is pumpkin. I have water leaf, and I have green leaf. Green leaf, the one that we call a folio. Use of water leaf, UGWU, and a folio. Now you allow it to fry. Allow it to fry. It's frying. You keep stirring it so that your tomato will not get sticky to the pot. The next ingredient I'm going to go in with now is our cube. This is it. I showed us I'm making use of 2 KNOR cube. This is KNOR cube. This is 2 of it, which is now giving us this 4 cube. You break it because some of the cube can be so strong that if you don't break it, it might not melt on time, and you wouldn't want to eat Maggi. You don't want to eat the seasoning while you are eating when your soup is ready. That's not going to be nice. Now it's still frying. Now the frying is not going to be like when you are frying for your stew. And another thing I forgot to tell us is, after blending the tomatoes, I boiled the tomatoes to drain out the water. Yes, I did that. I forgot to tell us that earlier. I boiled it so as to make the frying process easy and quick for me. So at this point, I'm going to introduce the fish and the meat into the soup. This is the meat that we are using. I have beef, I have stock fish, there is cow skin, there is stock fish, there is intestine. So you mix all of this. The meat is well cooked. I cooked it for a very long time. It's well cooked. The next thing we are going to add now is our fish. We're going to add our fish. This is the fish. We'll add it. Now I'm going to add the stock from the parboiled fish and the meat. It is optional. If you don't want water in your vegetable, you can choose not to add, but I will add to this my own in order to allow the tomatoes to infuse into the meat and the fish. If you are loving this, please give this video a like, a thumbs up, share the video, subscribe to my channel. Help me to build this channel. God bless you as you are watching. Now in turning this, you want to be careful. That is, if you don't want your fish to scatter in the soup. And again, you can decide to introduce the fish into the soup maybe towards the ending. You might not want to add it at this point, but I want to add it at this point. That's why I added my own at this point. I don't mind even if it's scatter in the fish. Of course, that will make more sense. Now I'm going to go in with my water leaf, but before then I want to test the soup to know if the seasoning is okay or not. After testing it, if the seasoning is not okay, you can decide to adjust. Now remember, of all the ingredients that I showed us, I also show us crayfish. We've not added crayfish, don't forget. Now I reserve it up until this point. I've checked the seasoning and it's okay. Now the next thing I'll add now is the crayfish. This is the blended crayfish. We'll add it into it. Now if you notice, I have not added salt to this soup. I haven't. Now you want the salt to be the last thing that you are going to add, because after adding the seasoning, your stock and that's the stock from the meat and the crayfish, you want to check the soup. You want to test it to know if you should add salt or not. And if you are the type that cannot cook without salt, please be mindful of the number of seasoning that you will add to the soup so that it will not be salty. Me, I can cook without salt. I can eat without salt. Using salt to cook is optional for me. Now I'm going in with my water leaf. This is my water leaf, well washed. I washed it with hot water. Like I told us, I don't mind if the fish scatter in the soup. So you can decide to add your own fish at the end of the soup. Maybe when you might have added your vegetables. Now we're going to cover it small to simmer a little, maybe for like 10-15 seconds. And now we remove it and then add the next vegetable to it, which is going to be our ugu. Now I have my ugu here, well washed. Then we start to combine. And the last thing I'm going to add is the efori roll. Here is my efori roll. Then we turn it again. I'm going to cover it for a minute or two. Then we'll check. Our soup is ready at this point. Now you want to remove it from the gas, or you turn off the gas. At this point, your soup is ready. Tell me what you are going to enjoy this soup with. Is it pounded yam? Is it eba? Is it ewa? Is it rice or swallow semo? You can choose to enjoy it with whatever you want to enjoy this with. Thank you for watching. I've put off the gas at this point, and so our soup is ready. But the sad thing is that my swallow is not yet ready, and so I cannot invite you to come and eat. So I want to go out first. Maybe when I come back, I can now decide whether I would make swallow or I'll cook rice. Like I say, you can choose to enjoy this soup with anything. Swallow, rice, pounded yam, anything, semovita, anything at all. So if you like this process, if you enjoy watching this video, kindly give me a thumbs up, kindly subscribe to my channel and share the video. Comments. Thank you. Till I come